Hey guys, it's Kyla. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing my monthly reading wrap up, and I have so many books I'm ready to talk about that I read in July. Also, I did dye my hair red. I literally got it done yesterday and I'm obsessed with it. Guys, red hair Kyla is back. Listen, if you have not been here for a while, I love having red hair. It is my favorite thing. I got my hair dyed red a few months ago, but now I just went darker because I know fall's about to be coming up and I want it to last, you know? We're gonna be rocking with this for a little bit. Anyway, we're gonna talk about all the books that I read in the month of July. I read 6 books, so this was a really slow reading month for me, but I also was traveling for what felt like half of the month. I was only gone for 10 days, but I didn't really read during that. I also just have been working so much, and I've been trying to just relax a little bit, like only read whenever I feel like reading, and I feel like I'm low-key in a book slump, which is very scary to say because whenever you say that you're in a book slump, it's like, it's terrifying. I feel like I'm kind of in one because it's taking me forever to get through books right now, and it's not that I don't enjoy them. I really enjoy them. I just am having a really hard time getting through them, which really sucks. We're just gonna go ahead and get right on into it. So let's get started. So the first 2 books I'm going to talk about are rereads, and that is going to be the ACOTAR series. I only read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. I am planning on reading ACOWAR in August. I gave both these books a 5 stars upon my reread. I really enjoyed them. I also annotated these books entirely. Like, the amount of annotations in here is ridiculous. I went heavy with it and I do not regret it whatsoever. I am doing a completely spoiler kind of rating vlog on this entire series up until A Court of Frost and Starlight, and then I'm hoping to do A Court of Silver Flames in its own video. That will be coming out soon. I only have to get through ACOWAR, which is going to take me probably a hot minute, and then Frost and Starlight, so that will be coming hopefully at the end of August. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these books, but I did reread ACOTAR for the 2nd time, and I did reread A Court of Mist and Fury for the 3rd time this year alone. I love this series with my whole entire heart, and just honestly going through and annotating them and knowing what happens already and just seeing all the things that I didn't miss the first time around, but like I didn't get the first time around, was so cool to me. Like, I love the foreshadowing in books. I love like whenever things start to connect. It's so interesting to me. I love it literally so much. So yeah, we have ACOTAR, favorite series, some of my favorite books I've ever read. Alright, and then the next book that I read is actually a Kindle read. I did buy this book on my Kindle for whatever reason. I have no idea, but I kind of regret reading it, and that book is going to be my fault. Everybody and their mother was talking about this book on Bookstagram, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it because I want to watch the movie. Like, everybody's freaking out about it. So I buy the book on my Kindle for like $7, and I read it and I'm like, this is awful. Literally right off the bat, first chapter, I'm like, this is terrible. I continue to read it. I read the entire thing. Like, I did go through it pretty fast just because the way it was written was super fast, and it just... Anyway, I gave this book a 1 star. If I could give it no stars, I probably would have, just because I did not like it at all. The relationship in this book was very problematic. She is 17 and he is 21 throughout the entire book. He's also her stepbrother, which just kind of irked me. And then I read the book and then I watched the movie. I skipped so many parts of the movie because it was just gross. I don't even know why I finished watching the movie. Just something in my brain was like, well, you started it, you have to finish it. And even watching the movie, I regretted doing that because it was just so awful. And also the book and the movie are like very different, other than like the main plot of like, oh my gosh, they're step siblings that hate each other kind of thing. Like, that part was true to like both stories, but like the movie was very different from the book. Like, and also just where it was at and the way it was set up was different. I don't know. I hated this book. It was terrible. I do not recommend it to anybody. I don't know why everybody was freaking out about this book or their relationship, because it's just gross. I felt like this book was like intended for a younger audience to romanticize kind of these forbidden romances in a way that's just really disgusting, that like shouldn't be pushed towards like high schoolers, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like it was geared towards that. Like, it felt very Wattpad-y, and just the writing and everything about it did not enjoy. So don't pick up this book, you will regret it, don't waste your money or your time. So I read that, and then I was like, okay, well, I need a book that is actually good and will lift me up instead of making me feel kind of gross. So then I picked up Reckless by Elsie Silver. Oh my gosh, this book, let's just stay here for a moment. This book was so good. I did get the paperback whenever it first came out, like literally the day it came out. I ordered it so quickly, and then I started reading it on my Kindle, of course, because why would I read the paperback that I bought? Anyway, I did read it on my Kindle, and I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and let me tell you why. So in this book, you are following Theo Silva and Winter. I forgot her last name. I don't know. You're following Winter and Theo. Theo is Rhett's like protege type person in like the writing world that you meet in the first book, which is Flawless. And like in that book, he's like obviously like a playboy type of person, like doesn't really care much about anything other than just writing and like having a good time. In this book, he's very much grown up, and Winter is Summer's sister. So Summer and Winter do not have a good relationship at all. They are literally opposites. They're actually half sisters because their dad like cheated or something like that. And in this book, you meet Winter, who is currently going through a divorce because her husband is an awful person. We know that from the first book. And Theo and Winter meet, and it's very much a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. It's also like a reverse I hate everyone but you trope, like Winter hates everybody but Theo. And when that happens between the two of them, she ends up getting pregnant, which we know from the back of the book, and also just like looking at this just because it just gives it away. It's so beautiful though. And so she gets pregnant. She keeps the pregnancy a secret from him, but whenever he finds out, Theo Silva has my heart. I love him. He was such a good character. The way his character development was, and also Winter's character development in this book, was so amazing. I picked this book up late one night, and then I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning reading it. I went through half of this book in one night because it was so good. Like I could not put it down. I was giggling. I was like kicking up my feet, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I was laughing the entire time. I was smiling the entire time. Like, guys, I was having the time of my life, and I did not want to put this book down, but I had to go to sleep, and I picked it up the next morning and finished it because it was so freaking good. I loved this book with my entire heart. I cannot wait for Beau's story, because at the end of this book you get like one little chapter of Beau, who is like the last brother. Oh my gosh, his story is gonna be so good. I cannot wait for, I think it comes out in November or October, something like that. It's like, it's in this year that the last book comes out. I don't remember exactly when. I don't think she's really announced it. I don't know. I need the next book now because I need Beau's story. But Theo and Winter has got to be one of my favorite couples from this series so far. Like if I were to rank them, I would do Willa and Cade, Theo and Winter, Summer and Rhett, and then Powerless. Like I liked Powerless, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't my favorite out of the series. Like I can't even really remember their names. So yeah, Reckless, 5 out of 5. I loved it. Favorite book so far. And the next book I read was actually another reread for this year. I read this book earlier this year, and I wanted to reread it because I want to finish the entire series, but like I know that this book is it has a lot to it. Like the plot is very heavy, the world building is really heavy, and just like the characters and everything, it's a lot. So I really wanted to reread it and take it really slow. I read the first 2 books, but there's 5 books in the series and I want to finish them, and that is the Lady of Darkness series. I did pick this up again. It wasn't that I didn't remember anything from the first 2 books, it was just that I remember being so confused the first 2 books, and for me to continue the series still being confused about the slightest little things just didn't sit right with me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna reread it. I'm gonna take it really slow. So that's exactly what I did. I reread it on my Kindle. I highlighted so much on my Kindle. Like I need to go through it again and annotate this book again with everything that's new on my Kindle. But I did really enjoy this book. I still loved it the second time around. I gave it a 4.75 or 4.5 stars out of 5. There was like 1 or 2 things in this book that I was like, it's not quite a 5-star yet. Like it's right there, but it's just not there yet, if you know what I mean. I did really enjoy this book. In this book, you were following this assassin named Scarlett Monroe, and this world is kind of a magical world. Like it kind of reminds me of ACOTAR in a way. Actually, it definitely reminds me of ACOTAR because her best friend's name is Cassius, and then one of the evil dudes' name is Azrael. Did Melissa look at Sarah J Maas's book and be like, "Ooh, I like those names"? Because I think that's what she did. Don't let that deter you, because it's nothing like ACOTAR. Like, it's nothing like ACOTAR, but it gives me the same feeling that ACOTAR gives me. Like, the way that I pick up ACOTAR and I'm immediately happy is the way that I am with this series. Like, it's just so good. But one day, the assassin lord goes up to Scarlet, is like, "Okay, I have a mission for you. If you don't do it, you're gonna die. Your friends are gonna die, blah, blah, blah." And her mission is to go and kill the Fire Prince. Well, the Fire Prince killed her mom, so she's like, "Okay, I've been wanting revenge on the Fire Prince, so let's go." So there's a lot of secrets. Whenever you're reading the first book, there's so many unanswered questions until you get like to the last 100 pages of the book, where it starts to give you real answers, which I did really enjoy. The world building in here is really good, as long as you pay attention and not try to speed through it. And throughout this book, you also meet this man named Soren. We love him. He's great. He is a general type person for the armies, for the king's armies or something like that. Him and Scarlet kind of go at it with each other. They don't like each other. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She also has just a lot of secrets about herself and about like where she comes from and everything that she deals with. There's also weirdly a lot of like mental health kind of talk. Like, I feel like it's not outright said, but it's very much underlying, which I really liked. I really enjoyed that. I also love the plot of this entire book, just because you're trying to figure out who's the Fire Prince. You're also trying to figure out other little things like war and that kind of stuff in here, and just the world and the way that it is just so cool to me. I did really enjoy it. I understood a lot better the second time that I read it, because I took it a lot slower than I did the first time. So yeah, I really did enjoy this book. I loved it. I definitely want to continue reading this series, and if you have not heard of the series, definitely look into it. Definitely pick up the first one, because it's so good. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. It's just such a good series. I really love it. And also the covers for all of these books are so beautiful. That is Lady of Darkness. And the last book that I ended up reading this month, I actually finished this book yesterday, and my opinion, I wouldn't say is controversial, but I feel like it's a lot different than everybody else's for this book. But I did pick up Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I definitely forgot to vlog it. If you guys want a reading vlog for the rest of the series, let me know. I will try to do that. I picked this book up a while ago at the beginning of the month, listening it on audio, and then I read a little bit while I was on vacation, and then I didn't finish it until yesterday, because yesterday I had to end up returning my Kindle book for it. So I was like, let me hurry up and finish it. In this book, if you have not heard about it, you meet Selena. She is pulled to go be one of the king's assassin, captain of the guard. No, she wants to be the king's champion. So it's like her and a bunch of other assassins are brought to the palace to compete to become like the king's champion. You get a lot of money, you get freedom, all this kind of stuff, and she wants to win. So the captain of the guard named Kyle ends up kind of bringing her to there. And then Dorian, whose father is the king, is like, "Okay, you're gonna be my champion and you better win, because I want to prove my dad wrong." And she's like, "Okay, got it, period." Also, the lighting in here, I'm so sorry, it's gonna get really bad. So a lot of weird things are going on as she's going through all these trials, and while she is getting ready to combat in like a kind of a duel to actually become the king's champion, you have to kind of figure out this evil magical kind of stuff that's going on. She also befriends a princess called Nehemia. Oh my gosh, we love Nehemia. I love her. So that's kind of like the premise of this book, which I feel like a lot of people know about. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was not my favorite book that I've read of Sarah J Maas, which I understand. This is like the first book that she's ever written. I understand it's not going to be as great as ACOTAR, okay? I get it. But I just didn't love this book as much as I thought I was going to, or much as other people have. I definitely am going to continue the series. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it as much to like not continue the series, but it just wasn't my favorite. I felt like Selena was not a great assassin throughout this entire book. I was talking to my friend about it yesterday, and I was like, somebody will walk into a room and she doesn't notice. Like, that's not the job of assassin. She like was very slow to figure out a lot of things. The way that I thought she was gonna be isn't what she was, if that makes sense. I also have a lot of opinions just about everybody in this book. Didn't love a lot of people, hated a lot of people. There's only like 2 or 3 people that I actually liked, which I did like Selena. She just wasn't my favorite. I thought she was kind of dumb. But I was talking to my friend yesterday about it, and she was like, well, she does it on purpose. And I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, read Crown of Midnight and you'll understand. So I'm gonna read Crown of Midnight. Maybe that was a spoiler, I don't know. And I'm gonna continue it and see if I like it a lot better, which I'm gonna end up reading all the books because I bought all of them without even reading the first one. But yeah, I did give this book a 3.5 out of 5. Wasn't my favorite. I will be continuing the series. Hopefully it just gets better. I just felt kind of left out once I finished the book because I was like, I didn't love it as much as other people have, but that's okay. Everybody has different opinions. Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I love the way that that rhymes. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Alrighty, so these are all the books that I read for the month of July. I did really enjoy a lot of them. A lot of these were 5 stars, so I'm really happy about that. I felt like it was a really good reading month. I may have not read a lot of books, but I did read a lot of like long books and just really enjoyed all the books that I read other than the one. But yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe right down below for more content like this. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, keep up with me. I post on there so much, so if I ever miss an upload, you'll know on there faster than you will here. But yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Peace out.